A very warm welcome to the Conscious Talk Club. I'm your host, Gardner, and today we are going to cover something very interesting that many of us have gone through. It is letting go. When we talk about letting go, we are talking about the power, the willingness to lose sight of the shores so that you can be able to venture new grounds. Many a times, we have failed to venture new grounds because we have failed to let go. This morning, I got up with a consciousness of organizing and sorting my closet. I wanted to remove the old clothes, the old shoes, the old belts, and some of the stuff that I no longer use. I started organizing and organizing. But by the time I came to conclude, I realized that everything I had sorted, that I had put aside, was back into the closet. To me, these were stuff, shoes, clothes, and belts. To you watching right now, this may be your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your job, your friend, your business. And the question is, why is it so hard for us to lose sight of the shores? And yet, we desire, we need, we want, we long to get onto this life journey. A story is told of two monks. One was a senior monk and the other was a junior monk. These monks wanted to venture new grounds. They wanted to leave their comfort zone and get onto new environment, new surroundings, and find new activities. So they decided to travel to a far, far away country. Along the journey, they went through hills, they went through mountains, they went through valleys, they went through forests. And at one particular point in time, they came across a flooded river. But they had to cross this river. So as they walked closer to the river, a very beautiful girl walked to them and asked them to help her cross the river as well. The junior monk did not speak to the girl. He just moved and crossed the river. The senior monk listened to the girl, decided to lift her, put her on his back, and cross the river. After crossing the river, he placed her on the bank of the river and moved on with his journey. Along the journey, he was chanting his mantra. He was singing. He was enjoying the journey. He was experiencing the journey. Whereas the junior monk was silent. He was not speaking. He kept on looking at the senior monk as if there was something that had happened to him. Until he could not contain it, he burst out and asked the senior monk whether he knew what he had done at the riverside. The senior monk acknowledged that he was a monk, and we all know that monks live a celibacy life. He acknowledged that he had violated the vows of not coming into contact with a woman. He had violated the vows as a monk. But he told the junior monk that all he had done was to carry the beautiful young girl across the river and place her at the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, many of us are like the junior monk. If your conscious of your life being, you realize that many a times we are carrying memories, and these memories have hindered us from living into the present. The senior monk had carried the river, had carried the girl and placed her on the riverside. The junior monk, who had not carried, kept on thinking about the girl in his mind. And because he had failed to let go, he could not experience the journey they were taking, the beauty, because he had held on to that act in his mind. But the question I'm trying to answer is, how can we let go? How can we live in the present? How can we free ourselves so that we can be able to travel new grounds, to accept and to have new things in our life? One, you need to acknowledge. Whenever you are lost, the first thing you need to do is to acknowledge that you're lost. And after you've acknowledged, then it becomes the first step. Just as how the senior monk acknowledged that he was going to violate some of the vows. He knew the commitment he had. But he acknowledged and lifted the girl and crossed her to the other side of the river. And you too, I acknowledged that I needed to sort my house, to sort my closet. And because I had acknowledged that there are things that I do not use and do not need, then I had to let go. The second, you need to evaluate. Evaluate the circumstances at which you are performing, at which you are doing what you're doing. Evaluation comes in to know who is responsible. Viktor Frankl once said that we have the power not to change circumstances, but to change who we are. Therefore, you evaluate who is the cause, where is the problem coming from. The senior and the junior monk, neither of them had caused the river to flood. Neither of them had invited the girl to come and seek for their help. But the senior monk responded by helping and crossing the beautiful girl to the other side of the river. And that was not out of his own circumstance, but on the response, he acted. And he evaluated, because that was what was supposed to be done, regardless. I evaluated myself to get to know what things do I want to give out and why do I need to give them out. My closet was getting full. I was not having space for new things. Now, evaluation helps you to let go. The third and the most important step is to act or move forward. You can acknowledge, you can evaluate. Until you act, all you've done is in vain. I acknowledged that I had a lot of stuff. I evaluated. And at the end of it all, when I realized that they were going back to the closet, I acted by removing them and giving them out. The senior monk acted. He didn't leave the girl on the shores. He carried her across the river. When you are conscious of your life, you'll find that we have failed to live the present because we have clinged onto the past. These are emotions that have made us angry, anxious, depressed. This can be your ex-girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend, your friend, your job, your business. It is until you decide to let go that you're able to live in the present. And once you start living in the present, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have and taste the beauty of a fully and happy life. Let us Be conscious of our present life. Let us look on to letting go, because we cannot have if we hold on to that of which we already have. Be willing to lose sight of the shores so that you can venture in new grounds.